fellow self-isolationists. Welcome to the first and probably only episode of Ken Schwa Can Cook. That's putting it a little mildly. And I'm sure some of you will have your own names for this. Ken Can Cook. Schwaka Can Cook. It's all good. They're all good. Please, when I post this, give me your alternate names. I am doing this because one, I'm a little teensy bits, even though I'm an introvert, I'm a teensy bits a little stir crazy being in the house all this time. And I was in the mood for a really good steak. And I was also in the mood to do something creative, hence putting myself on video and talking to it, even though, and it's really strange because there's no one else here. I feel like I'm talking to myself. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to cook a steak. I wanted to do something creative. And hopefully this is something fun and, well, again, just fun. So steak, now mind you, again, I'm not really a cook. My grandmother, she was a great cook. My mom was a great cook. My brother-in-law, Bill, great cook. Many people I know who are great cooks. I wouldn't say I'm a great cook. I know my way around the kitchen. A little bit. Anyway, but steak is one of those things where it's kind of like the holy grail of being able to cook a steak in your kitchen and cook a high-grade, almost restaurant-quality steak, as opposed to cooking it out on the grill. Which, don't get me wrong, I love cooking it on the grill. But, I've kind of, over the past couple of years, been looking for this almost perfect, I hate the word perfect, but best way to cook it indoors. And there's a few different ways. I mean, you can just do the searing on the stove. I've read about broiling it first to cook it all the way through and then searing it. And then just the opposite, searing it first and then putting it under the broil to finish the cooking. I'm just going to do the searing on the stove. So, and one of the things I've kind of learned learned through my watching videos and stuff of that nature is to do a really thorough but simple job at seasoning it. And really, salt and pepper. Okay. I've come to find that apparently kosher salt is the way to go. And to be generous with it because, again, apparently, that, when you cook it, a lot of that seasoning goes away. So, recommendations are to be really generous with it. And I'm using some, doing kosher salt, liberally applying it, rub it in with your hands. I'll show you when it's done. Obviously, I don't have a good camera crew here to really get all these together. So, let me turn these over. And again, I'll show you the kind of finished thing. So, I tell you, one of the things about the whole COVID self-isolation thing is I've actually kind of gotten back into cooking for myself. It's something I didn't really do a lot. And I know there's at least one person, if not a few out there, who are shaking their head yes. Grind your pepper, again, not sparing anything. So hopefully, if you're not already cooking for yourself, which I think probably most of you are, but hopefully if you're not, or you're needing some inspiration, hopefully this will be it. Again, I don't know how inspiring steak is. Should be pretty simple. Let me wipe off my hands here. So again, not really good camera quality, but there are our steaks. So lots of kosher salt, lots of pepper, and so next step will be the cooking part. So as soon as I reset up my camera. We'll get to that. Alrighty, we're set up here. Again, you know, no professional camera crew. So I'm actually going to keep the camera a little more on the plate so you can see what I'm doing. And that way you don't have to look at my face, which is really, I mean, let's face it, it's kind of a plus. So, alrighty, so getting the pan nice and hot before you put anything in it. Another thing I forgot to mention though before is, apparently from what I've read, you want to bring out your steaks and get them to room temperature before you start cooking them, because apparently what happens is if you're cooking them right out of the fridge, you have to cook the outside a lot longer to adequately cook the inside. So, alrighty, so now, apparently also very important is how you drop these in. You want to apparently place them away from you. Ooh, I might have gotten too small of a pan here, but we'll see. Just perfect. All right. So, you know, I've heard anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes aside. Being careful not to forget the thin sides to these. And my tongs. And in addition to cooking these and having these well seasoned, you know, just as important is getting, not being afraid of flavor. So we're going to be adding some things to this as it cooks, hopefully to increase the flavor of this. Also important, you don't want to turn it over until it's really brown on one side. Although I've also read the opposite of constantly turning it every minute. So I really don't know what's correct. I actually heard both of those from the same source. Now you don't have to get fancy with pans. I actually happen to have a ceramic pan here, which I'm using for the first time in cooking a steak, as opposed to a straightforward metal pan or a non-stick pan. Ceramic pans are great because they're really easy to clean, like really easy to clean, and they're pretty much non-stick. Kind of swishing around the olive oil. Okay, so we do 4 minutes on that side. Now, put in some more olive oil. Because with our extra ingredients here, we're going to want to baste this a little bit. So we're going to put in some rosemary and some garlic. You don't have to mince it up, just squash it a bit. Garlic, put it on top, kind of moving around there. And equally important, and this last one, you know, I originally learned this last one from one Jason Villardo, who many years ago saw him put butter on something meat-based. Now, Jay, I'm gonna just say, I think you put it on an open-faced roast beef sandwich, which today I'm still not too sure about, but definitely when it comes to cooking steaks, the garlic, the butter, the rosemary, basting it is apparently what really brings out that kind of restaurant quality taste to it. I mean, we'll see. I still have to eat this. And just as important is to get the sides here. If you can, although, you know what? I'm realizing the limitation of this ceramic pan is that it likes to slide. But if you can, tilt it up on the side there, and then tilt the whole pan itself to get the olive oil and butter and garlic to sear that side. I'm going to be able to do the other side. Yeah, probably not. All right, so I've done the 4 minutes aside here, so baste a couple more times. All right. Now, also important is to let the meat rest. Don't go cutting right into it. You want it to be as juicy as possible. Want to be as juicy as possible, as tender as possible. You want to let it rest for a good 10 minutes. Well, it smells good. I don't know how it's going to taste, so I'll be honest with you, though. So I won't lie to you. If it's horrible, it's horrible. Alrighty, it's time to see if my creation is as good as I'm hoping it to be. You know, a couple things I kind of forgot. One was cooking something else along with it. I actually had originally thought of doing some Mexican street corn with this, and then I was just so, I guess, for lack of a better word, excited to do the video and do something creative. I totally forgot to do that part of things. So I'm really just eating steak, and I'm probably going to have both pieces that I cooked. I'm drinking a red wine with it. You know, I've been accused of being a wine snob, and I'm sure at times it's accurate. But at the same time, I am a big believer in it. You know what? If you like it, that's all that matters. So I don't really find that there's much right and wrong when it comes to wine. Actually, for this one, I'm actually drinking I know most people go with a Cabernet with steak, and of course that's a very perfectly good choice. But I'm actually doing a red Zinfandel from California, appropriately named enough, Carnivore. So I actually kind of like the Zinfandels. You can do a Malbec, you know, but really, I mean, whatever floats your boat when it comes to that. I guess here it is. It's probably a little bit more well done than I thought, but it's still pink in the center. It's damn tasty. Might be a little too much on the seasoning, even though everything I read said season the heck out of it. It's very good with the wine. Yeah, I guess some take-home points here, some of which I'm going to reiterate. One, take the steak out beforehand. Let it get to room temperature. 10 minutes or more. Seasoning before, seasoning while cooking. I would probably ease up on the seasoning beforehand. You know, everything I read and videos I watched said season the ever-loving shit out of it. It is possible to kind of overseason. And I don't think this is great, but I probably would have pulled back a little bit on the pre-seasoning. 3, butter. Butter makes the world go round. Butter makes the steak really good and really helps give it that really nice granulated, seared texture on the outside. It gives it a lot of extra more flavor. And it's what they do in a steakhouse. You know, when you go out and you go out to Ruth Chris, you go out to Capital Grille, they're slathering your steak in butter, whether you know it or not. And 3, let it rest after cooking for at least 10 minutes before cutting into it. So, other than that, man, you know, experiment with it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. So certainly you don't have to do exactly what I did. Experiment with your seasonings. Experiment with your cuts of meat. That's another thing I forgot. This is These are New York strips, but I tend to shy away from the fillets. I don't think they have as much flavor. But so hopefully this is maybe inspired you to go and try and cook that perfect indoor steak. It's easy to do. Just don't be afraid to experiment. So, and if this was at all entertaining, which I'm not sure it was, but if it was at all entertaining, let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see something else. Let me know if you have better ideas for names of this. This would definitely keep me entertained in the current self-isolation society we are living in. So, folks, have a good dinner, next dinner, and stay safe out there. All right, talk to you.